I never tend to do one show. I always do two or three, because I tend to, during the week I'll think of all this great stuff, and then at the end I'll post it all. This one is one I've been avoiding for a long time because it's a very touchy issue. It's everyone has an opinion about it. Just because I have an opinion doesn't mean I'm right, or doesn't mean that I'm trying to enforce it on anybody or anything like that. I'm talking about abortion, damn it, I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it now. So anyway, it's a very, very hot button issue. All you got to do is say the word and it gets people up in arms, right? I mean, I'm going to look at it different ways, because I don't want you to think I'm just looking at this in one way. I mean, I feel bad that everyone should have a chance, right? Think of what if my mom had thought differently. Where would I be right now, right? I might be dead. So I mean, it's nice to have that ideal that everyone should be able to have a kid. If everyone should have to have a kid, so then you have something to continue on the species, and you'll be proud that you made the right choice and all that stuff. But then that's like a lofty ideal. That's like a happy kind of, I wish life were like that. It would be nice if it was like that, but it's really not like that. Not everybody has the choice. Some people are. Here's a good example, actually. This is on a book I read called Freakonomics. The book had a point where in LA, crime in the early 90s was getting really bad. Like, the gangs were getting really popular, and they were doing a lot of crack cocaine and just dealing and everything, and it was getting out of control. They were like, in 5 years, it's going to be Bosnia in LA. And everybody was afraid to death of what was coming, because if it continued to escalate at the rate it was going to be nuts. And then all of a sudden, next year, crime petered down. Now, it was at like all-time lows. And they were all, grasping at straws, trying to figure out why. Oh yeah, it's because we got more police on right now, or tighter gun laws, or this or that and the other thing. Turns out, the reason that it happened this way is because there was a lady who won an abortion case like 15 years before that to have it legalized to have abortion. And generally, the people that were having the abortions at the time were the very low-income, poor families where all these criminals were being born from, right? So all of a sudden, she won her case. She was allowed. She was pregnant at the time, but the kid actually it didn't become legal until after she had the kid. So it's nothing she could do. But the generation that would have been born criminals were all getting aborted. So then all of a sudden, bam! That next year, all the criminals who would have turned 15, 16, 17, who would have become thugs and all that, weren't there anymore. So you have all this criminal element that was gone because of abortion. So, and it's funny that nobody would have linked the two, but that's what the book's about. It's just linking these weird things. Like, just because cause A seems to be caused by B and C doesn't mean there's not an unknown factor, but that's another. Anyway, just giving you a little bit of a point there. So generally, people that get them are the lower income. The people can't afford to have kids. On a science level, our population is fucking fine. We need to actually calm down on population. So, on a science level, to me, the kid is only alive when it starts taking its first breath. And that's going really far compared to, because most people, by the law, it's after the first trimester, you cannot have an abortion because it's a living, breathing thing. But to me, it's only a living, breathing thing when it actually breathes on its own and it's alive, like it's actually separate from the mother. I think that it's, on a science level, we should really have the option open for anybody. And I hate it because people tend to get in each other's faces. They tend to jump on everybody else and say, you can't have that abortion. I'm not going to let you have that abortion. Isn't it her choice to do whatever she wants, whether she has the kid or not? And if she doesn't want to have the kid, there's probably reasons. Some people don't have kids because they realize, I don't have time for a kid. I'm working 3 jobs right now just to be able to float by. If I have a kid, what am I going to do? I'm going to be bankrupt, you know what I mean? The kid's going to have to turn to crime to be able to make ends meet. Or, I'm in a state of mind where I'm not going to be ready to have a kid for another 10 years. I mean, I could take care of a kid now, but I really wouldn't want to. I'm not financially stable enough and all that. And that's what makes our generation great, is because we can wait if we want to. Like, it was cool when our parents were kids. They could get a good job, squeeze out a couple of kids at 20, retire at 45 or 50. I mean, that was great for them, but that's not how it is now, right? Now we have to make a lot more choices in life. Everything is... you got to do a lot more planning. It's not just you work hard and you'll get by. It's not like that anymore. You got to work hard. You got to plan. You got to talk to a lot of different people, get a lot of different opinions. You got to really bust your ass to even just kind of get even a fraction of what our parents have. It's not going to happen. The generations aren't. There's too much competition. Too many kids being born. So yeah, just bothers me that it should be the mother's right to decide what's best for her. You know what I mean? Bringing another life into the world is not the most important thing. There are thousands of babies that die all the time through just whatever means. There's thousands of kids starving over in Africa because their population is out of control. I watched the movie about sharks there, Sharkwater, and they had a thing on, okay, sharks kill 5 people a year, soda machines kill like 300, and they had starvation being the top killer, and it was like 800,000 people a year. So it's kind of makes you go, well, you know what? If certain things, laws were changed over there, if they had the means to have abortions, I think life would be a lot different over there. It's just you don't understand if you've never been in that position, and I've never been in that position either. But I had a friend who was in that position where, you know, the girl got pregnant, and oh fuck, what do we do now? You know, unless you're a girl and you're an anti-abortionist, if you've ever accidentally gotten pregnant, you would understand. You would immediately go, oh, now I understand why that choice is available to me, because, you know, you should explore your options. It sucks when someone says, you're going to have a kid, you're going to have to work 3 jobs for 20 years and never get a day off to be able to support this kid. How does that feel? You know, you can always wait. The population is like, it's stable. It's never a question of, oh, I've got to have this kid to continue on the species. Never. That's gone. That's been gone for a long time now. Or I've got to have 3 kids because 2 of them might not survive because of the famine or the disease or whatever. It's not that way anymore. So, you know, I understand that it is nice. I wish we lived in a place where everybody had a chance to have a kid and everybody chose life, and, you know, the means were always available if you wanted to have a kid to help you out. But it's not. So the world's a big ugly place, and not everyone is going to survive. That's just the way it is. So to me personally, I mean, I know I've covered a lot of ground, but to me personally, it should always be the woman's choice, and I will not frown upon somebody who has made that choice, because seriously, they obviously had a reason they did not want to have the kid. Whether the kid was not going to be loved, was not going to be taken care of, did not have the time to take care of the kid, whatever the case may be, okay? Or maybe it's even a question, sometimes the woman gets raped and then has a kid. I mean, would you want to, most of the time the kid's born, you know, extremely cool, and you're, you know, kind of, you're not glad it happened, but you're glad that the results came out because you ended up having a beautiful kid, and they're great and smart and funny and all that, despite the fact that it was because of rape, right? But on the other hand, you know, you could be the type of person that thinks every time I look at that kid, I'm going to think of I was, you know, sexually assaulted, and that's the result. I mean, so it should be the woman's choice. I mean, put down your signs and everything like that. Realize life is going to continue, and no matter if you want to fight for the couple of abortions that happen here, and say in this city, why not go over to Africa and watch out for the 800,000 that are starving to death every year? I mean, it's like crying for like one tadpole that didn't make it out of the 100 trillion that are born every year. We have more important things to worry about than what a choice that some woman made. You know what I mean? It's not going to affect you either way. It's not. It's a drop in the bucket, you know, and it's her choice to have that drop or not. It's not yours to tell her what she can and can't have. So anyway, just covered a lot of ground. Throwing that out there. Don't be the snap reactionary type that says, oh, you're a baby killer or whatever. If I were a girl and I got pregnant, I would want to know my options. I wouldn't want to automatically be, you know, chained to something. Like, should always know your options. There should always be options in every choice. They're not always, but I'm just saying. Thanks for listening.